So the 2025 paper on interventions to delay onset and slow progression covers a range of topics. We talk about a lot of the commonly used interventions, be they spectacles, contact lenses, pharmaceuticals. We also talk about combination therapy, and for the first time we talk about light therapy and the new evidence for that. Compared to the 2019 paper, the sheer volume of evidence is the most striking contrast. If you look at the 20 or so randomized clinical trials on 0.01% atropine, I think almost all of them have been published since that previous paper. The same with spectacle lenses. We have a range of new designs like DIMS and HAL, and they have really revolutionized the spectacle space. So there are some interventions that were tabulated in 2019, but we don't go into any great depth on because it's been a dead end scientifically, or they weren't particularly effective. So progressive addition lenses, I think the jury is in terms of their modest or lack of effectiveness. The same with some other issues like undercorrection and bifocals. So when we're looking at randomized clinical trials, we want to see preferably at least 1 year of data. We would like to see a control group, and we'd like to see axial length measurement. And we include data on cycloplegic refraction, almost invariably cycloplegic autorefraction, and axial length in the summary tables. And also in some interventions, like particularly overnight orthokeratology, you can't use refractive error because the intervention itself is modifying the refractive state of the eye. So axial length has really become the gold standard. Now there are other things that might be reported like quality of life, quality of vision. We didn't really highlight those because generally vision is good with these interventions. The only other important consideration that we talk about is safety. And again, spectacles, safe, atropine, safe, soft contact lenses, safe. We don't get into some of the more nuanced measurements, although we do mention choroidal thickness, but only as a potential biomarker, if you like, for longer term efficacy. So one of the conclusions that you might draw from the paper is that there are a number of effective options. So there are spectacle lenses, there are some soft lens designs, orthokeratology, and certain concentrations of atropine can meaningfully slow myopia progression. So what the practitioner now is able to do is to say, okay, what is available to me and what am I going to recommend to the child or to their parent based on discussions about the child's lifestyle. I do get asked, what's the best myopia control modality? My answer is always the same. It's the one the child will use, because if they're not using it, if they're not wearing the spectacles, if they're not using the drops, they're not going to get the benefit. The practitioners will find figure 2 particularly useful because it has 6 separate graphs showing the relative efficacy over time of different classes of interventions. That will be a useful sort of starting point where they can say, all right, how does ortho-K compared to best-in-class spectacle lenses? How do soft lenses compared to low concentration atropine? So they can make some informed decisions there. So most of the ortho-K studies give very similar data, and the same with low concentration atropine. But in the case of spectacles, there's things that work really well, there's things that work moderately well, and there's things that don't work. So again, seeing those data can help a practitioner sort of tease out what they really want to prescribe for a child. I think an eye care practitioner can read the paper, but also look at the summary data and make some informed judgments about what they're currently using in their practice, what might be available to them soon and what they should aspire to be doing in the future. And having a range of options makes the field even more interesting and allows us ultimately to do a better job. So there's another group of practitioners that I think I would like to speak to, and that's the people who aren't currently engaged in myopia management. And I think the availability of the evidence in this white paper should go some way to convincing those people to take a step forward and start using this in their practice. I think the biggest take-home message is that we now understand how to evaluate and articulate the efficacy of different options. So the field is constantly growing, evolving, changing, and hopefully the International Myopia Institute can play a small role in keeping people up to date and appraised of what's happening in the field.